is Way 31 News at 10.
Some bitter cold temperatures headed our way as we head into next week. All of the details coming up.
With the colder temperatures comes a greater chance that pipes will crack and burst. I'm Jim Abbott in Huntsville with what plumbers say you might have to pay and how you should fix it.
My hope is that he walks up.
It's been about a month since Huntsville realtor Ronnie Dumas was seen last. Tonight, we're learning new details about the investigation and hearing from his friends and family. Good evening to you. It's great to have you with us for Way 31 News at 10. I'm Mikkel Williams. We have a lot to get to tonight, but we are bracing for a rush of frigid Arctic air that's on its way to North Alabama. Way 31's Jim Abbott spent his day asking experts about what you can do if your pipes freeze. And Way 31's Georgia Clark is looking into plans for a new post office to improve working conditions for staff, especially those who must work outside at times. We need to check in right now with storm tracker meteorologist Amber Kulick to get a look at how these temperatures are shaping up over the next several days. Amber.
Oh yeah, temperatures are going to hit rock bottom as we head towards the start of next week. Here's your feel-like temperatures at 6 a.m. on Monday morning. That's some negative numbers across the Tennessee Valley. Very frigid air headed our way, but we do have our next weather maker to get to before the cold air gets here. A cold front moving through the area tomorrow night, bringing some heavy rain, but no severe weather with it. And right now, things are quiet across the entire state of Alabama, but that will all change by this time tomorrow night when we start to track that rain across the area. Good news is, after a breezy day today, winds will die down as we head into the overnight hours tonight and stay on the lighter side for the first part of tomorrow before they start to pick up, all ahead of that next weather maker moving our way. Temperatures across the area right now, well, we have 42 in Huntsville, but it's already 29 degrees in Scottsboro, 36 in Athens, 38 in Decatur. And temperatures will continue to fall as we head through the overnight hours into the upper 20s is where we'll start our Friday. But then by Friday afternoon, we're up into the upper 50s for highs. I'll track out that rain and we'll talk about those cold temperatures coming up in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Amber, thank you. With temperatures set to hit the teens next week, there's a greater chance of your home's pipes freezing, cracking, and bursting. Way 31 reporter Jim Abbott talked with a plumber today to gauge your options.
For the past month, we've brought you plumbers reminding us to drip our faucets and cover our hose bibs outside to protect our pipes. But what if you don't do that? And now you don't have any water, or even worse, water is everywhere. Well, with the colder weather coming, it is far more likely. Hiller project manager Thomas Nally says he knows the calls are coming. Homeowners saying they don't have any water. He says, first off, you have a frozen line. So you'll need to go to your water meter, turn the water off, and then verify that it is off.
From there, go to your hose bib or any open faucet, even a tub inside works. Just open it up and get all the water drained out of the system. That's going to stop any future damages from happening.
Nally says what he sees most is an entire section of pipes freezing with multiple breaks. And then you have to replace it all. Costly?
Worst case scenario I've seen is I ended up doing a whole home repipe, and normally it's due to old aging pipe as well. And this was just kind of the final straw that broke the camel's back. I've seen those range from $5,000 to $8,000.
Nally says there isn't an average repair. If the issue's minor, like replacing a vacuum breaker, it could be just $60 to $80. Thinking about doing it yourself? Well, workers at Ace Hardware say they saw plenty of people coming in last month buying items like plumber's putty and crack foam to fix leaks. But Nally says you need to be careful.
If it were my home, I would want a professional out there, maybe not even to fix it, but to at least give you an idea of what you're looking at and to make some recommendations for you.
Nally added, just gauge your comfort level and your skill level at fixing those problems and ask yourself, could I be making the problem worse? And before that cold weather comes in, he says, practice those prevention measures and you should be better off. In Huntsville with coverage you can count on, Jim Abbott, Way 31 News.
Great advice, Jim. Thank you. The people of the Big Cove and Owens Crossroads community are one step closer to getting a new post office, but not before we get hit with a dangerous cold snap of weather which can be life-threatening for its workers, who are sometimes forced to sort mail and packages outdoors. WAAY 31 reporter Georgia Clark brings us an update on the progress of plans to build a new post office.
I spoke with Representative Strong's office today, and they say the United States Postal Service is surveying land right now for a new, larger post office for the Owens Crossroads and Big Cove communities. Representative Strong's office says the USPS is not revealing the exact location just yet, but are working on environmental inspections and hope to have a lease signed by May of this year. The Cove Area Citizens Action Group have been pushing for this change for a while because the growth in this area is substantial.
We got a commitment from Dale Strong to work this problem with the U.S. Postmaster General, which he has done. He's contacted them and gotten a commitment.
Last spring, the action group held a town hall that addressed this issue, and with the problem still present almost a year later, change can't come soon enough for this community.
The folks having to sort mail in the parking lot in all kinds of weather. So it's an issue of the facility size, obviously the location. I mean, it's in a dangerous location on top of that. There have been a number of accidents here because of where the building sits. So it's an ongoing problem.
The issue of mail being sorted in the parking lot has been a consistent one. Binkley says he has gotten plenty of packages that were damaged or wet. And over the past week, there's been a tent set up in the parking lot where local residents say postal workers were sorting mail. I have reached out to the USPS for an update directly from them, and of course we'll keep you updated on this building and any changes live on air and online at WAAYTV.com. Reporting in Owens Crossroads with coverage you can count on. Georgia Clark, WAAY 31 News.
Georgia, thank you. Tonight we're learning new information about the investigation into the disappearance of Huntsville realtor Ronald Dumas. Huntsville police confirmed the FBI helped analyze cell phone location data for Dumas. They say the most recent data shows his phone was tracked heading south from Memphis on December 21st. They also reveal surveillance camera footage captured Dumas leaving a University Drive liquor store on December 15th with two women. They say he did not appear in distress, and they don't believe he's in any danger currently. More than a month after his disappearance, loved ones say they're still desperately searching for answers about what happened to Dumas. Today, WAAY 31's Tori Dunnan spoke to his family and friends.
We just kind of became a family when he moved down to Huntsville, and he created his village here.
Misha Rice has been friends with Ronald Dumas Jr. for about 20 years.
My hope is that he walks up and
They became friends around the time she says he moved to Huntsville from Chicago to attend Alabama A&M.
to contemplate the scenarios of what could have happened to Ronnie and how we're here a month later with no information about where he went, who was with him, what happened to him. It's devastating. It's devastating.
More than a month after the local realtor's disappearance, and she says she's at a loss for what happened to her friend, describing him notably as a father of three, whose kids, she say, miss him.
Thinking about not only going through Christmas without their dad, but also starting another semester of school without dad is something that they haven't experienced before. And my heart goes out.
She says she was part of the group of people who searched the area in Tennessee where law enforcement says they found his car and phone just over a month ago. What's your hope?
My hope is that Ronnie comes home unharmed. My hope is that his children don't ever have to experience a lifetime of not knowing what happened to Dad, where Dad is, and yeah, that's my hope.
Now turning to the greater Huntsville community.
If there was ever a time to involve law enforcement, please call HPD.
With coverage you can count on, Tori Dunnan, WAAY 31 News.
Hopefully someone will come forward soon. Another urgent search is underway tonight for Chastity Terry, a 39-year-old mother from Marion County, Alabama. Her family last saw her on January 9th and on security camera footage on January 10th. That footage shows her at a Love's Travel stop in Jasper. She was with a man named Charles Williams Jr. That man is now in jail on drug-related charges. Tonight, her daughter is begging for her safe return.
I knew that something was wrong, and the first thing I did was go to Hamilton Police and file a missing persons report on her. And I was so scared. It's just unlike her.
Today, multiple agencies searched the grid area near where Terry was last seen. They also searched an area where Williams' Jeep was found. They say they have no evidence of foul play, but they are investigating this as a possible homicide and missing person case. If you think you know anything about Terry's disappearance or you think you may have seen her, contact Aaliyah. Officials feel they're starting to get a handle on the California wildfires. But now Southern Californians are facing a new crisis. We'll explain next. Plus, a look at new challenges our neighbors to the north in Tennessee are facing months after being hit by Hurricane Helene.
Rain's on the way to the Tennessee Valley as we head into the overnight hours, Friday into Saturday morning. I'll have the latest look at future radar coming up.
Coverage you can count on. This is Way 31 News at 10 with Nikel Williams, Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle, and Sports with Max Cohen.
Some good news tonight. The wildfire containment is improving in California. The Palisades fire at a little more than 20% containment now, and the Eaton fire 55% containment. That's according to CAL FIRE. Well, the search for more victims is ongoing, and some residents, of course, are facing housing crises. Maribel Gonzalez is in Los Angeles with more.
This Altadena family made it back to their home, only to find it reduced to rubble and ashes.
Everything is just gone.
Having access to their property, a privilege being denied to many.
That was the TV.
Officials say one of the challenges making repopulation difficult, potential cadaver recovery efforts.
There are areas that we are holding because we believe there may be deceased victims there.
And the potential for hazardous exposure.
The U.S. EPA has been tasked by FEMA to conduct Phase 1 household hazardous materials removal in the burn footprint.
On the long road to recovery, potential scammers are cautioned by California's Attorney General not to burn fire victims again.
Greedy businesses and landlords, scam artists, and predatory buyers looking to make a quick buck.
And as if victims of the wildfires weren't facing enough, some are scrambling to find affordable temporary housing.
These rentals literally cost twice as more than my mortgage.
A number of insurance companies pulled out of the LA area before the fires, but the state's insurance commissioner recently announced a 1-year moratorium on policy cancellations and non-renewals for people in affected areas defined by the state of emergency declaration, a potential path forward for those determined to rebuild.
It's going to be okay. You know, we mommy and daddy did it once, we can do it again.
In Altadena, I'm Maribel Gonzalez.
It's awful. In Tennessee, the areas hit by Hurricane Helene last September are still dealing with effects from it. The storm has since changed the landscape of the Nolichucky River itself. Scott Fisher is the owner and executive director of a local outdoor learning institute. He says that during the height of the flooding, the river's water force was greater than what Niagara Falls produces during its peak season. The river appears wider, but most of the current flows to the left side.
Helene really is unprecedented in terms of the force, the flow, the damage. Certainly unprecedented in our lifetime and probably in multiple lifetimes. The trees, the vegetation, the soil, anything below the 20 to 30 foot mark has pretty much been swept away.
He fears the narrowing of the river will bring more environmental issues down the line.
Now, Wave 31 Storm Tracker meteorologist Amber Kulick with 31 Triple Doppler.
Well, we are getting ready to see a spring-like day tomorrow. That's going to be pleasant.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Me too.
It's next week.
Right, that we're nervous about.
Yeah, it's going to be very cold. Let's go ahead and talk about it because I got a lot to tell you. We are looking forward to a nice warm up tomorrow, and then tomorrow night I'm going to track our next weather maker that'll move in here, bringing us some rainfall. We'll be way too warm to worry about any of that wintry stuff. And then after the front moves through, it's going to get very, very cold as we head into next week. But let's focus on the positives here, and that's the fact that we'll be almost at 60 degrees tomorrow for your afternoon high. Rain moves in overnight Friday into your Saturday morning with a couple of showers left over Saturday afternoon. Remaining cloudy throughout the day with temperatures warming into the 50s once again. But then by Sunday, that Arctic air is back and it's going to hang out with us for a week. 35 for your afternoon high on Sunday. Not going to spend much time talking about tonight. Not a whole lot to tell you about. May see some areas of some patchy fog first thing in the morning. And since we will be below freezing, that could cause a couple of slick spots on the roadways, on those bridges and overpasses. So just something to think about as you head out the door first thing tomorrow morning. Now by tomorrow night, cloud cover starts to move in, and this is the latest run of the model. So it looks a little different than it did at 6 o'clock. By 9 p.m. we start to see those scattered showers across the area, and then some heavier rain will come into play as we head into midnight and the overnight hours tomorrow night. Again, not expecting any severe weather from this, just some beneficial rainfall and some really good sleeping weather as we move into tomorrow night. Few showers and maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder left over first thing on Saturday morning. by Saturday afternoon. The rain falls out of here. We're left with the cloud cover, and then the cloud cover sticks around as we head into your Sunday. Yes, your eyes are not playing tricks on you. We may see enough wraparound moisture from that area of low pressure that we could get a couple of snowflakes to fly on Sunday morning. I'm not expecting any accumulation out of this, and as we head towards the evening hours on your Sunday, they're out of here. But the cold temperatures are going to stick around. We're talking about highs in the 20s Monday and Tuesday. And when you step out the door on Monday morning, this is 6 a.m., feeling like below zero across the Tennessee Valley. So you're going to need all those layers. Let's talk about that chance of snow next week. And again, this model has been very consistent with keeping the snow to our south. We're talking Montgomery, Mobile, even Dothan could see some snow as we head into Tuesday. Across our area, it looks like we'll just have to deal with the cold. Right now, things are quiet on 31 triple Doppler, and that's how we'll stay through the overnight hours tonight. Quiet across the entire state of Alabama, with temperatures falling already. We're in the mid-30s across much of the area, and over in Sand Mountain already in the 20s. That's where we'll end the night for most areas in those upper 20s tonight. Here's your 10-day forecast, because this is a roller coaster ride as we head into the next 10 days. 28 on Monday, 27 on Tuesday, back into the 40s and even some 50s by the next weekend.